Hello knitters, Kaylee from Strands Knitting Studio in San Clemente, California. And today I have all my needles and we have some more of our summer stuff is in, our summer yarns are in, and we're going to talk about that, some classes, and I'm going to show you how and what I use to read my patterns with. Stay tuned. I'm going to sort of chronological order of how things are going to go here. So here's the new yarn. It's not a new yarn. We just got restocked colors. This is WinQ. It's a Marisol. It's 15% silk and 75% cotton. And it's a great yarn. It's a slubby yarn, meaning it's got thin, yeah, you can see that thin and thickness to it, which makes it sort of a rustic, I call a rustic knit. It's not like this really smooth, but it has some texture to it, but not too much. And so the main pattern they use is called Alma. It's a top. It's top down V-neck and it's in the store. And I'll put a picture up here because she's on a mannequin right now and I can't get her off. So, but here's a picture. And lots of people made this last summer and this looks great on everybody. It's just the perfect pattern. Yeah, everybody can wear this. Sleeves can be shorter, longer. It's got lots of room. You can play with how much room or how much you don't want to have, less room. You can play with length. But it's just a really great pattern and it looks great on everybody. So I'm going to be doing that class. So the Alma blanket, see, I got blanket on my brain right now. The Alma Sweater class will be Saturday from 10 to 12. So that's like a week from this Saturday or 2 weeks, a week from this Saturday. And so what you could do, this is what you need to do. You need to come in, get your yarn, take it home, swatch it up, and then you're going to come to class with a swatch, like a good 4-inch. So you're going to cast on like 30 stitches and then knit for a bit, like, 2 to 3 inches, like 3 inches. And then come with a top that you want this sweater to fit like this top I'm wearing would be the perfect candidate because I love the way this fits. And I would bring this so I can get the measurements off of this that I want for the top. Instead of just taking our measurements and going, well, do you want it 2 inches wider, 3 inches wider? The pattern says 6 inches wider. Do you want it 6 inches wider? How wide do you want it? It's like it's in fuzzy math land when we do that. But if you have a top that fits like you like it, you can get the straight measurements off of there and there's no guessing and you're going to like it. So I'm going to get your yarn. I'll have pictures of all the colors here. I think it was 11, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 colors. We have 11 colors. So yeah, come and get and start your new summer top. Okay, second thing is on my needles, which is the Inclinations Shawl, which is by Andrea Mowry. And I'm using Zauberball. This is a fingering weight yarn. Isn't that turning out pretty? It's turning out so pretty. So I'm using these 2 colors of Zauberball. That's what I'm doing. And every time I come in, you do 2 rows of this and 2 rows of this. So every time you come over where your yarn's hanging, you pick up the new yarn and you do 2 rows. You pick up the new yarn, you do 2 rows. And it's a half fisherman's rib. So you're doing a knit one below and a purl one, and then you go back knitting. It's a 4 row repeat, with the only difference between the 2 rows, the 2 is on one of them. You do an increase at the beginning of the row every time you do this particular color. Other than that, it's the same thing all the way. So it's a really nice, that's why I had to cut my yarns. But there it is. Yeah. So this is a really nice, this is a great travel knit, car knit, plane knit, because you don't have to carry much and you don't have to think much. And yeah. So this one is also going to be a class. And so this one is going to be July 8th, which is a Saturday also, from 10 to 12. So this will be July 8th if you want help getting it started. Of course, you can also come in anytime and I'll help you get it started. But it's fun to do it with the sort of, a little group of people so you're all doing it and see what colors they choose and all that kind of good stuff. So this is July 8th from 10 to 12. Okay, and we're about close to the last call for the cable blanket. Yarns in. If you want cream, we have all the cream you need. We've got everybody, almost everybody's doing cream. I have somebody in light gray, and I think another set of girls, two are going to come together with light gray. You need 2 bags of this. The cream, we're sort of pushing cream only because if at the end of the year you need another skein, which can definitely happen, then we have the yarn in the right dye lot. And we'll have extras that we're putting away for just this blanket. So if anybody needs that cream. Then I have another pair of people who are 2 of them, and they're buying three bags. An extra bag. They're buying an extra bag between them. So it's actually 2, 4, 5 bags that they'll buy between them. And that way they have extra skeins if they need it for anything. And so that's the only thing. I mean, we don't, you can do whatever you want, but if you need an extra skein, you're going to end up buying another bag of yarn. So, and the cream is just classic. You are making a real heirloom blanket. This blanket is going to be passed down. And so cream just goes with anything, any house. 40 years from now, it'll still look classic and be, fabulous. It'll be fabulous anyways, but you don't have people going, oh, I don't like that color. That color is not in my house. Cream goes everywhere. So we're pushing cream only because that way we have yarn for you at the end of the year if you need it. But do you. So anyways, that class is starting July 9th, and the yarn's coming in very quickly. So you need to order from Christine what you want. And we have, we only got 1 color card. We're supposed to get the color cards for that, but they didn't come in yet. So I don't know when that'll happen. But come in, talk to Christine. She's the all guru on all this. And then we have a pre-class. So if you're going to join us, we have it starts on the 9th, but there's so much to go over on how to track and keep track and deal with the patterns and everything, that I'm actually doing a pre-class, which will be Wednesday night the 5th. So the 5th is a Wednesday night from 4 to 6. So that's a pre-class just to get you up and running so that at the class I can actually make sure you are well on your way onto your first block when you leave, and you're not just beginning it or something, because there's fixing to figure out, there's lots going on. You're going to be a cable maven by the end of this class. You're going to be a fixing maven by the end of this class. So this class has a lot, but it's not a beginning class. You need to, be pretty comfortable with everything, knits and purls and, fixing sort of, maybe, but, so I think it's an intermediate beginner, kind of pushing towards intermediate, but it is just cables, but there's just tracking. So there's a lot of cables. Cables aren't hard. It's the tracking. It's all about the tracking. That's why we're doing a pre-class. It's all about the tracking. So anyway, so that stuff you'll learn, and that stuff you can use in any patterns that you use. So that's that. Okay, and the last thing, I use my iPad for my patterns. I use a Goodreader, which is a PDF reader app on my iPad, and I put all my patterns in there. I read my patterns. I do not do paper unless I can't get it onto my iPad, because if it's just a picture, it won't work. So so I'm going to show you Goodreader, and that's for iPads, iPhones. iPhones, you can have it if you're traveling, it's okay. If you're reading charts, it'd be sort of hard. If you're traveling, an iPhone perfectly works. Obviously, an iPad, even the little iPad, works fabulous. And if you have a PC notebook, there are PDF readers, and I think one is called Foxit, F-O-X-I-T, that's supposedly the close one to Goodreader. Mostly, it's just that I don't know how to run it, so we'd have to learn how to do it together. Goodreader, I know how to do Goodreader, so I can help you do Goodreader, and we're not trying to figure anything out. I just show you how to do things. So stay tuned, because I'm going to turn this around, and you can watch me on my iPad. Okay, so this is Goodreader, and this is what I use for all my patterns. You can see I have all my patterns in here, and they get downloaded in here. I can just download them on my iPad, and then it just goes in here. So they're categorized, somewhat categorized, like there's cowls there, and then there's scarves. So this is like neck things, and then shawls and ponchos, and sometimes if I get new patterns, they don't get categorized right away, so sometimes they're just floating around in Neverland. This is all socks and feet, and lots of socks, Yeah, and then we're into sweaters and cardigans and pullovers and stuff like that. So this is Goodreader, and this is what I use. Okay, so we'll start with this pattern in Goodreader. So this is in Goodreader. Inside where you actually read the patterns, and you just flip the pages over like this is all the materials, and here's the pattern itself. And then as you can see, I have highlighted, I have two different kinds of things going on right here. So you can highlight everything. The best part of this, you can make things bigger. This is the best part. You can enlarge everything immediately and unenlarge it and enlarge it. It's like a miracle. So that's the best part. So this is your highlight bar that you can move around, and you can put it anywhere you need to, highlighting. Yep, it moves it down, and then you hold it, and that comes up, and you can move it down again. It never goes away. It never goes anywhere. It doesn't get lost. It doesn't change, fall off, and you don't know what row you're on. You can change colors. You can change the size of it into thinner strips, and you can also change the opacity of it, which makes it darker or lighter. So like this would be full opacity, would be not much good. So I usually keep it around the bottom to 50%, 25%. So there's that, and then you just can move it everywhere. So now you can see how I highlighted these. This pattern has a bunch of minis, and every mini is a different color, and you have to do different things. So it has all these different colors. So I highlighted the color number, and then I gave it the name, like that was green, the top one's green, the next one's a P, and that one's pink. I think the other one's like dark maroon or something, or dark multi, might be dark multi. And that way I know what colors they are, and I don't have to go looking anywhere to see what colors they are. And yeah, you can see you can write in there. And then if you need to keep tabs of something, so I'm going to take this one away for a second, you can write, this is how I do it. And you have several ways you could do this. Make it really big, and then you're going to put in the squiggly line, and then you can write on this. You can write notes, you can write anything you want. And so let's say I have to do something like 15 times, 16, 17, 12 times, right there, 12 more times. Okay, now I've done that. Now I can either cross them off as I do them, or I can actually also erase them if I want to. So I just pick the eraser, and I can just make it go away. And that way, that's my countdown to how many I've done. And so that's how you can keep track on this without having to go elsewhere into papers or anything like that. It's all right here. I love this. It's going to make your knitting so much better. It's crazy how it makes your knitting so much better. So, and here's the next page. Now your highlighter will not go on to the next page. So every page you have to make a new highlighter, and which is no big deal. And there you go. And that's how you're going to keep track of everything on a pattern. Okay, now I've got, let's go over to this cable. This is the cable blanket. This is the written instructions, and I am not using the written instructions, but I did highlight a few just to sort of figure it out and see if I was going to use the written ones or not. So, but as you can see, you do all your different little colors there for each cable has a different color. And unfortunately for this, anytime you have a cable, there's a key to your cables. So it will tell you, how many, what does 22RC mean? What does 22LPC mean? And you go back to the page where that is. Well, I would have a card. If I'm reading instructions like this, I would put the instructions or copy them and paste them onto an index card and have them right next to my computer here or my iPad. And that way I can deal. Oh, hold on. And that way I know exactly what's going on here, and I don't have to keep switching back the pages. Yeah, see, you don't want to have to go back a bunch of pages, so you just keep it where you're at, so that you can just look and see what it is. Eventually you'll sort of get to know what they are because they are repetitive. You see there's a majority of certain colors there. So that's how we do that. But then, now I'm doing it on a chart. And so here's the chart. And to me, the chart reading is amazing for this, because see what you can do? You immediately get it bigger. Now, and then now the key here is down here. And so, you know, I knew what to do all my colors, but also I can read. I know what, like that aqua one in the middle there, that's a 4-stitch, it's taking up 4 stitches. So that's a 4-stitch left leaning cable. So I know what I have to do to make that happen. And then the green one right above it is a left leaning, but there's a dot at the corner. So that actually, it's only 3 stitches, and the first stitch is going to be your purl stitch. And then the yellow one on the other side, it's a right leaning, and the last stitch of the 3 is going to be your purl stitch. So anyways, there's ways that you don't have to, so I'm never going down to my cable thing down in the back. That just isn't happening. So, and then you can't, to get your charts as big as you can get them on here, you'd have to have a really big piece of paper, and that is really cumbersome. I mean, you're sitting at a table, you know, sitting here doing this, and so with this, you don't have to do that. So that, I mean, I just love this thing to death. So that's that, and that's how that works. This is what I'm working on right now, the inclination. So that was the one. Yep. So I'm working on that. And there you go, you guys. Good Reader on iPad or Foxit. I'm pretty sure it's Foxit. It might have been Fixit, but I think it was Foxit on PC. And or a PDF reader. I mean, you know, if you want me to help you and you're on an iPad, please get a good reader. They're $6. The app is $6. Both of those apps are $6. Stay tuned at the very end for the cable blanket video. Okay, and that is it for this week, and I hope to see you in the studio real soon. Bye. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about, I've had lots of people do our year blanket class now, and they said, like, we would love to do another blanket class. And I'm like, well, what would we do? And so we decided to do cables. And so what I've found, I didn't design it, I found a beautiful cable blanket that's a little different. And instead of being square blocks always, it's got some different shaped blocks. So it's really beautiful. So I've got 2 of the blocks done now, and we're going to be using Cascade Aran. So it's just like a heavy worsted, and we're on, well, you end up with 3 needle sizes, but we're on 10, 9, you're mostly knitting on a 9. You're casting on and casting off with 10s and 8s. And it's not real casting on and casting off. You're knitting an I-cord. So you're knitting an I-cord for the beginning, you're picking up the stitches, and then, so here's the center block. This is the center block. This won't be the first block you make, but this is the center block. I think this may be the most difficult block in the thing. I don't know yet because I haven't knitted them yet. So that's the center block. This yarn's it's washable and all that stuff, but it's very soft and cozy. And then here's one of the side blocks. And the center block would be like here. And there'll be another side block, a different cable pattern, but this shape. And then, yeah. So this class will start on the second Sunday in July, which is July 9th. From 10 to 12, and I think we'll run it the second Sundays. We may have a month, like there's 4 blocks that are on the bigger side, so we may make that a 2-month project or something. We'll see. I haven't still in progress here, but I am setting a date because I need a date so that I can get as much as much done, and I have like a date that I have a deadline. I have a deadline. Deadlines are good. So anyway, so if you're interested, you'll let us know. You'll be ordering the yarn beforehand. I highly suggest one color. I mean, you can choose 2 colors, but I think it's so elegant looking, and it'll be mostly elegant looking in one color. Now, cream is like the go-to color, but it can be any color, and this yarn comes in many colors. So what you'll do is you'll come in, you'll pick a color, and then Christine will order the yarn for you, because we're needing like a bag. I don't know yet. I don't know yet what we need, but we need at least a bag, and maybe a bag and a half. I'm not quite sure. So we'll need at least 10 skeins, and as I get a little further on, I'll be able to narrow down the amount of yarn a little better. But anyway, so that's coming up in July. So I'm just sort of putting out there so you can think about it. and see if you want to do it. It'll be the second Sunday, always the second Sunday, so you can block those out for traveling or whatever. Or if you miss a class, you miss a class. It happens, you know, you're not going to be able to make every class. That's okay. You'll catch up. So, sort of excited about this because this is really fun. And this cable, these look a lot harder than they are. They're very sort of repetitive. There's not a trillion different cables in them. There's like 4. And yeah, but you'll get really good at reading the charts because you need to read charts. It's so much easier if you're reading the charts than if you're reading the words. And the charts, you'll get the charts after you do it a bit. You'll understand what's going on with the chart. You highlight the chart. You do lots of stuff to make it easy. And but that's the stuff you'll learn. So, and how to keep track of it, because that's probably my hardest part, is like in the line on the chart, like keeping actually track of where I'm exactly at without constantly dealing with the chart too much. So anyways, so you'll learn the chart reading, and I've got tricks and tips on that, and you'll learn all about cabling, and there's tricks and tips on that, because you can do this without a cable needle. I have found a new cable needle that I like a lot. Because it stays out of your way. And so, yeah, you'll just learn, you'll be a master at cabling by the end of it. So there you go. So that's in July.